What's up, guys? It's Kristen, your self-proclaimed QuickBooks nerd. Today, we will be taking a quick look on how to create a new vendor in QuickBooks Online. QuickBooks Online functions off of three name lists: customers, entities that you receive money from; vendors, entities that you pay money to; and employees, obviously those who work for you and receive paychecks. Setting up vendors is a very simple process in QBO. Let's see how it's done. To create a new vendor, select the Expense tab on the left side menu, then select the option for vendors. Here, your vendor list will appear. This is a sample file, so vendor data already exists. But if you are in a new company file, more likely than not, you will not have any vendors set up. You will see an icon, though, something similar to this new vendor field in the upper right corner of this screen. Select the option for new vendor, and your vendor profile information will appear. The only piece of information required to save a new vendor is the display name. Notice it is the only field that has a little red star next to it indicating that it is required. You can populate the rest of this information as you see fit. Here I'm going to enter in John Smith as my vendor name. We can enter in any of their contact information up here, phone number, mobile, fax, website. And then if we scroll down just a bit, you will see that you can enter their address and their tax ID number. Best practice when working with a new vendor is to have them fill out a form called a W-9. This form will have their tax ID number and their address on it, and will also indicate if they are required to receive a 1099 at the end of the year, barring thresholds and whatnot. Once that once that W-9 is received from our vendor, I would recommend attaching it here to our vendor profile. This will be here for easy reference in the future. It will live with your vendor's vendor name and vendor profile in QuickBooks Online. Because the display name is the only piece of information that is required, that's all I'm going to put here. And then I'm going to click Save. There are multiple ways to create vendors in QuickBooks Online. You can add a new vendor from within a transaction by just using the drop-down and selecting the option to Add New, and you can add that type vendor. By selecting Details here, you can populate that additional information that we just saw in the vendor profile. Another option to bring vendors into your system is to import your vendors via an Excel file or CSV. You can import that vendor list by simply clicking on this little drop-down next to New Vendor and selecting the option to import vendors. If you need to go back and modify a vendor name in the future, you can simply go back to your vendor list as we did before by selecting Expenses and Vendor, finding your vendor on your list, selecting them, and then in the upper right corner, select the option to edit. The vendor profile information will appear again, and then you can enter the information as you need.